So it's really important for us to be represented at MIPIM as part of Greater Manchester. We come under the Manchester brand. We're there every year really to try and excite investors about the prospects in the city and beyond. And that's partly about the city centre in Salford, where we've had a lot of signature scheme successes over the years. But it's also about the wider hinterland of the city. It's a big city with land scarcity and big town centre opportunities, as well as our cultural agenda. So there's lots for us to talk to investors about, and we're really excited to be there as part of the whole GM delegation this year. It's looking really positive, very exciting for us this year. We've had major successes on our signature schemes, particularly around the Crescent with the university, at Media City and Salford Quays, and the next phase of both of those major schemes is a very exciting prospect for the city. Yeah, Salford's residential growth has been recognised again in the Deloitte Crane survey, and it's good to see that we are now top of the pile in terms of cranes in the sky and schemes on the ground across the city alongside Manchester. And I think it reflects two things really. One is the growth in residential demand for Salford, and that's all reflected in our population, which has rocketed from 240 to 270,000 in the last 10 years. It's going to top 300,000 in the next 10 years. And our residential demand is part of that, which you can see in the schemes on the ground and reflected in that crane survey. The other thing is, I think increasingly the city centre is very porous, and when people think of Manchester city centre or of Salford city centre, they're thinking of one and the same place, and that's reflected in the development activity on the ground. So yeah, we're pleased to be headliners on that alongside Manchester really, and that's I think a good reflection of investor confidence in the city. Housing is probably the top priority for us in the city of Salford. The housing affordability crisis is very well rehearsed, and we've been very much part of that national debate. And we're doing a huge amount in Salford through Derive, which is our council-owned development company, to bring forward social and affordable housing at scale. There's great examples of that both in the city centre at Greenhouse on Chapel Street, all the way out to areas like Little Holton, where we're doing a really exciting 180 unit scheme with Seddon up on a former school site in the middle of Little Holton. So it's hugely important for the council to play its role in that, and also to have that diversity of tenure. We know how popular market sale and proper PRS has been in the city centre, but it's that social and affordable mix where the council's playing, a really big role with our registered provider partners and the social housing sector to bring all that forward at scale. Yeah, Property and Regen has got an enormous role to play in helping us to bring all of those things forward. I mean, some great examples of that have been the work we've been doing on our whole cultural agenda over a lot of years in Salford. We've put a lot of money and effort into regenerating Islington Mill, which is just over the way from Factory International and Aviva Studios now. And also in all of the public realm work that we put into Media City over the years, which is some of the highest quality public realm in Europe, that's now being very much activated as part of our strategy with we invented the Weekend Festival, which has taken place again this June for the second time. And I think that whole ecosystem for the city is really important. Culture and heritage are part and parcel of Salford. You can see that in the conservation of the built environment in areas around the Crescent, for example. And you can also see it in the investments we've made in really important cultural institutions in the city, like the community stadium, where we've brought forward some really exciting stuff, partly to preserve that heritage of rugby league in the city, which is a big part of our regen plans as well. So they're very intimately linked, and we're doing more on that to develop footfall, dwell time, and to make those things sticky as part of the infrastructure for Salford. The growth strategy is very closely linked to employment and skills across the city. We've put £1.5 million worth of additional investment into that programme, and that's particularly looking at people coming into the labour market for the first time, as well as adult retraining. And I think what's crucial is that the buildings aren't just buildings, they are buildings which house jobs, they're buildings that are people's homes. And it's really important for us to make that connection with employment and skills progression across the city. We're partnering in a big way with the voluntary sector, with Salford University, with Salford City College as well as part of that. But I think the council's role in providing some of that additional investment to help broker connections across the labour market, and with some of the big employers coming in as our new occupiers. We've had big successes in New Bailey, where we are today, in terms of those occupiers, and those pathways into work for people and retraining opportunities are very much part of what we are backing and investing in Salford.